Welcome to Divorce Diaries Show podcast. I have today one of my favorite people, favorite guests. I wish I could marry him, but he has a social distancing guideline on me. Noam Rauscher, everybody, the divorce rabbi. Welcome.
The divorced rabbi.
What?
Got to be something I have to trademark now. The divorced rabbi.
I do think you should.
Well, no, it essentially embodies all the familial shame and guilt you carry around with them as a Jew, right? And the ultimate fear now is that my parents are going to introduce me to their friends that they make now. This is my son Noam, the divorced rabbi.
I think it's hot. I do. And my friend Gina, I just did another episode with, she was saying, she goes, that guy's hot and he seems really sweet. So anyway. So,
wait, your friend Gino said that about me?
Oh, her actual name is Gina. She's an Italian from Long Island. She's funny. She's a writer. She's like, oh, he's hot. And let me tell you, I'm introducing to my friend Lori in LA, who I was totally like, they're going to hit it off. And I'm going to cry because no one lives on the West Coast. And there's a spiritual fire that probably I only feel. Anyway. All right. So wait, I just want to say there's a couple of things. We're kind of on a time limit today on my end as a mommy duties call. But I think that we'll keep having Noam back because we still want to do an episode with the cousins.
The reoccurring character. I like
you
it.
Are. I feel like you
rabbi.
You're definitely in some. Well, you are a good person. You're funny, and like you have.
This is true.
You've hit on. What the fuck? Okay, easy, man. Okay, so
I'm punchy, man. It's early. Come on.
Early on the West Coast. It's 8:00. I appreciate you for shifting the time. So I want to go deep into the last episode we did, which was really great. It was a long episode. We talked about specifically not allowing people into your headspace rent-free, right? We talked about some of my dating mishaps and how I fixate on not letting go. And I want to ask you something about interfaith relationships. And maybe you can help me get underneath it. But I told you I met a new guy who was Jewish that I texted you right away at my show.
I just want to say, you made our meeting time 30 minutes earlier, 2 hours before it was supposed to occur, with a 3-hour time difference. And you want to ask me about a major topic of interfaith relationships. By the way, I look like shit.
You look great.
I don't feel that great either. I'm just saying.
You look hot.
You have wonderful timing, Trina. You have wonderful timing.
No, you actually look like you showered and everything, and like you do. You look really good. Is this what you look like in the morning?
I mean, maybe I should pass this off as my regular look all the time.
I mean, if we woke up together, this is what we would look like in bed together.
Hey, man. Not such a bad look.
As long as you don't call me Gina and you say Michelle.
Well, if I call you Gina, it's just because I'm expecting a different persona.
Well, I think you're going to get ready to hear the Gina persona that came out on Friday. So,
let's hear it.
So when I first met this guy, came to my show because I think he saw my podcast because of I had tagged, Jewish singles, divorced rabbi. I tagged a lot of that. And then I was like praying to the gods, like, let me meet a sweet, kind Jewish guy. And this big, tall, dark, handsome guy walked in and he was like, yeah, listen to your podcast. I'm like, are you Jewish? And he's like, yes. I was like, oh my God. So I freaked out. And then we kept talking, and then like I brought up right away that I was like, he keeps having these issues with the interfaith stuff, and he keeps bringing it up like before we even started dating.
Yeah.
And you said something to me at the LA show, which I can't remember exactly, but like we were at that point talking because we hung out once, and then right before my birthday, he laid in all this like concern he had about us getting together again, and he also wanted to give me a gift for my birthday, and I was like, this is the most odd way to say you want to celebrate my birthday with me / not want to. So I kept expressing to you how I was like, why is this such a big deal? Why can't he see past the religious beliefs for at least the beginning?
Right. Where you don't even know where things are going and you're just getting to know one another. And yeah.
And he felt like it would not be good in the long term. But then I was like, but so many other issues can come up besides religion.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt, and you told me, you're like, yeah, I know, it makes you feel very less than, right? And I was like, thank you for acknowledging that. Because he felt like he wasn't doing that. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so what's essentially the question?
So the question
Is
is,
he doing that or is he not doing
well,
that? Or
he already is. Like, we've now gotten past that, and now I'm like laid into him a couple times. Like, um, he felt like I finally got to a little bit of to understand the two soul things. Like, I wasn't understanding what he was talking about, like two souls and who are not of different, the same, of different religions. How can they really be one? And I was
Mhm.
like, I just want to go out with
Okay, so what's
you.
your question, Trina?
So my
With our
question,
brief time, what's our
so
question,
so my
Gina?
question is, do you ever get that from anybody that comes to you, like they're struggling, or is it all bullshit? Like, do you think what he's saying is bullshit, or is it like he really is struggling with it?
About
Because
the interfaith stuff
yeah, because like if you really
and how he
like
thinks it
someone,
would impact things down the road.
yeah, like wouldn't if you really like someone, wouldn't you just put it past yourself and just say, hey, I don't
Okay,
want to.
so your question is, does religion really matter that much in dating? It
Yeah,
sounds like, right?
sorry.
And I think, look, for everyone, it's different. To think though that religion is a non-negotiable, like um, anything else, right, is ridiculous, right? Everything's negotiable in relationships if you think the relationship is really worth it,
Yeah,
particularly if you think the person is really worth it. So, um, I can understand his initial concern, right? I mean, that's just kind of the way it is between faith communities, is that we try to stick to our own. Uh, but, marrying outside of that is inevitable anyway. And beautiful families and relationships come from that circumstance too. And, you know, faith based communities have taken a long time to come around to see those families as beautiful and the advantage they present to the community and the benefit as well in terms of bringing more people in and offering greater perspectives on what we have. Um, but people can still be really sensitive about that and they don't want to waste your time or their own time in dating if they think that religion is going to be something that's really important, like the
yeah.
most important thing. And when you have young kids, it has a tendency of being that. Uh,
He has older kids.
he has older kids. Good. And at the same time, right, it's not the be all and end all, right? The thing that's going to save your relationship ultimately in the end, if it's on the rocks or anything like that. It could give you some good things to think about, but if you don't take it that seriously, then it's not going to be a central force. But to think that um, it's the most important thing that matters in your relationship or the first guiding principle, I think is misguided in some way, right? I think there are other things, particularly in the early stages of a relationship, right? When you're really getting to know someone, um, everything's negotiable, right? Because you need to be open to those things. You need to find out what's really important. And in many ways, religion can make you feel like other, like anything else can, right?
Yeah, like I'm not pretty enough, I'm not skinny enough, that
I
kind of thing.
remember dating during the quarantine and not having a job because I lost it during the pandemic, right? As a result of the recession. I
Yeah.
was an executive director of a small nonprofit and it just didn't work out because the money dried up in a recession like normal. And so did the job. But I went out and I dated anyway, and there were plenty of women who didn't want to date me because I didn't have a job because it was a non-negotiable to them that like the guy have a job. And it's not as if I was lazy, right, or didn't want to get a job, right, or for some reason couldn't get a job. Like this was much larger circumstances that we were all experiencing.
Yeah. Where were
So
you?
I
I would have
think
hugged you and
I
attached
appreciate
myself.
that. So I think, look, I think your point is like, yeah, like you can feel other as a result of it, and that sucks, right? From another person's perspective, there's a real important priority there, whether it be job or religion or anything else. But at the same time, to think that like they're non-negotiable from the get-go, I think is close-minded. And particularly when you're first meeting someone, you want to go in as open-minded as possible because you want to learn about who this person is and really get to the things that matter more so than anything else.
100%. And so when I was with you, I appreciate that because I actually told him that the other day. I was like, he explained it to me, and I was like, that's very close minded. And me having the little temper that I do, I started getting like, that's fucking ridiculous. And he was like, Michelle, he's very calm. And he's like, well, Michelle, I don't want you to get more angry and more pissed off. So it's probably best that we don't talk. And I'm like, well, you're going to fucking listen to me because I said that first.
You're like in full on Jersey mode.
I'm in full blown, I'm going to throw something down a fucking sewer.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
I stupidly, when I was in LA and I messaged him because his friend came to the show, who was very sweet. He sent his friend to the show, which everybody was like, he's spying on you. And I was like, oh my God, that's so sweet. And everybody else was like, no, it's not. But he wasn't. He just sent his friend who to the show, right? And then when I messaged him a picture of me and his friend, we started talking again. And I said, what everyone's like, just tell him like we should just put the religion stuff on hold. And we hung out. He bought me these slippers for my birthday. This shirt. He bought a nice Shabbat dinner. Not really. I'm just saying it's Shabbat because it was on Friday night. But like, then we were in bed.
Go ahead, call it Shabbat.
Then we were like cuddling massage, and I was like, "Yeah, I know."
Some heavy petting.
So I was not touching anything.
Wait, were your arms cuddling or were your lips cuddling?
I was.
Was there genitalia cuddling?
He was doing the massage and the kissing, and we were on second base mode because I started to think, I was like, uh-oh.
Wait a second. You're saying he was doing the massage and the cuddling and we were on second base mode, but where do you, like, I'm picturing you're like a pickle and he's like got his arms around you.
It was very PG, but not. Like, it was very hot. And I was like getting super.
So what you're saying is like, it's like middle school, right? Like,
but it was like, I probably could have finished if he gotten like, even without being touched. I mean, like, it was such good foreplay, but then like, I was like scared. I was like, oh my God. I started to go backwards and think, oh my God, he just wants to fuck me. And then.
And.
Because but I said to him, like, no, I just, we can't. He's like, no, I would never cross that boundary with you. But meanwhile, I was like, well, I feel like you would. And like, that's when I started getting nervous that maybe this was all just a thing for him to see. Well, maybe we'll just enjoy the moment. And if we have sex, we have sex. But then when the next day came along, we did it. We just kind of did the PG stuff. The next day came along because I said, you have to be dating me to go any further. And he's like, okay, I guess I have a lot to think about. Oh, fuck. So the next day he was like contemplating it all again.
Wait, you're saying that out of like surprise because like that's all you needed to say was that in order to get him motivated, or what?
It didn't motivate him. It just kept him still like, I guess I can't.
So that's where it's at right now. It's, I guess I can't.
No, wait. So like it was there and I said, I said, let's not talk anymore. And then he said, okay, Alexa, stop. Go brush your teeth, Grace. So then I stuck to my boundary, trying to be a good person trying to stick to my boundaries. And then what happened was I released a podcast episode and I think that he contacted me. And then I got excited because I thought he was missing me, which he says it was about that. But then he wanted to talk to me about something he saw on social media. And then, because he was like, he lives a very private life and doesn't want his shit exposed, which is another issue because I do stand-up comedy about the men I date or lack of dating. So
you already called out his friend.
What?
You already called out his friend in another state.
Did I? Oh yeah, I did. You're right. He laughed at the joke, by the way. Okay. But his friend laughed. His friend thought it was funny.
Yeah.
So
depends what you consider funny, but okay, sure.
I'm trying to come from a place of good. So after that, when he reached out, I was like, so does this mean he's regretting it? So then Thanksgiving happened, and I stupidly the next day after Thanksgiving, before I left for Chicago, messaged him. And then so this whole week, it's pretty much been like he messaged me Saturday, and then the other 2 days was me. And I was like, see, I went down the rabbit hole. And I'm mad at myself because now I went down the rabbit hole. And when I talked to him the other day, I brought up, why don't we just get together since we're talking about this anyway? He's like, let me think about it. If you have to think about seeing me, that's the fucking problem. And he keeps saying, but I think long-term it's going to be worse though. I don't know. And then when he contacted me Friday and asked me, instead of just saying, hey, do you want to go out for lunch on Sunday? He stated, I'm still thinking about it. What are your thoughts? And I lost it. I was like, if you
and you texted him when for the date you're supposed to do this on Friday?
Friday, he texted me after we talked on Thursday night about possibly, because I brought up seeing each other in person. Right. And Friday, he texted me and said, okay, well, and
when were you supposed to see him in person? That's what I'm saying.
The day.
today.
I
And he
brought up
texted,
I brought up
and
Saturday, but we clearly see on Facebook he was with other women Saturday night. The cocksucking son of a fucking bitch, liar.
tell me how you really feel.
I'm gonna fucking swear to God, I no. I honestly, like, when I saw it pop up in my feed, I was like, oh, you live a fucking private life? Well, bitch, you gonna cross the
So
wrong fucking, like, I'm telling you, I am so fucking lit up. If he even, I swear to God, I'm so
so
lit up angry because he can do whatever he wants. That's the problem. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. The problem is I stupidly let my guard down and took my boundary away like a moron. So I'm really angry right now with myself, and I'm so upset. Like, things that we talked about, and that's where I'm just like, you fucking did it again. And now this asshole is like with the Jewish single women, I'm supposed to be on Jewish singles radio in Philadelphia in 2 weeks. Can we please meet a man that wants a interfaith open Italian crazy bitch who loves to have sex on her period and loves life?
and just to end it all with loving life.
And if they're Puerto Rican, I really would like the Latin flair too, or any Latin. I sound like a wackadoo.
They're called
So,
Jewarican.
so I lost it when I saw the picture because I was like, he wanted to take me next week to go honor my dad's death.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Wow.
was like, right.
It's a really
What?
nice thing.
It
What are
is.
you so upset about that you let him know about you? What vulnerability did you
Oh,
really
I'm
show?
upset with myself that I reached out to him this week
Yeah,
after I put the boundary up.
yeah,
I'm upset that I did that, and then he couldn't even say yes to seeing me in person.
yeah,
And then I lost my cool again.
yeah.
And then he offered to take me to lunch and honor my dad's life and put the dating stuff aside
Mm,
because that's not going to happen now, right?
right.
Offered to do that. And then I woke up yesterday morning with a really bad feeling in my stomach. Like I
Mm-hmm,
was going to find out that he's dating somebody or talking to someone else. I woke up
mm-hmm.
with this bad feeling. And this morning I saw that picture and I was like, my gut was right. And I feel stupid that I let that person I even offered to see him in person again. I feel really stupid inside.
Particularly for going to your father's to honor your father.
Well, I feel stupid for engaging with him, and that was my fault. And then I feel like why would he offer that? If he was telling me how he does really care about me, and
Mm-hmm,
how another point last week he said he's like, oh, I can't stop thinking about you either. And I was like, but I don't know if I believe that because actions speak louder than words. And that picture very well could just be two women he's friends with, and
mm-hmm,
he could be talking to somebody else I don't even see on social media. It triggered such a feeling of not worth it and not good enough.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know how, like, I feel like I can joke all I want about myself, but I'm trying to take better steps in my own self-worth, and that this just was like, how can I ever believe anything you say? You're probably lying about everything.
Well, but I think that's look, you and all your emotional reactivity that suits you. I get it. Totally worth it, right? It gets it all out, makes it real. Awesome. At the same time, like I think this indicates a little bit more about him than it does anything about you, right? You've showed up. You've been ready for this. You've articulated yourself in clear ways, right? In terms of what gets you to sex, right? What really means, what's really important to you, right? The priority of setting a time with you, right? As you want to know. And him not being able to do it is upsetting as well. And he's been indecisive this whole time. He hasn't been able to give you a straight answer about how he really feels about dating someone who's not Jewish, right? He's been very clear about his physical intentions, right? So we do know where his head's at with something like that. He's tried to make a nice gesture. So I guess he's mildly invested in some way to the larger goal. I'm still not sure what, right? Is it about dating you or is it just about fucking you? Right? Because it is a nice thing to say, let's focus on the memory of your father, but it is somewhat manipulative, I would guess, if it is just to get in your pants.
He said that there was no ulterior motive, and I was like, okay,
Well,
but
anyone could say that there's no ulterior
right.
motive. You can only really determine that once the whole thing is over.
It's like I am so angry with myself,
Yeah.
and I hate that I even like answered him 2 weeks ago because I cared. And then just my dad in it, it's like, why would you even suggest that? Like,
Right.
if you're so
Right.
in your interreligion, thing, and like, that's what, like, in a way, it's part of me is like, is this what your religion's preaching to you? But
It's
he's
very
not.
upsetting when you think someone cares about you when they really don't.
And that's what I've kept saying to him because he doesn't like when I compare him to the men of my past. And like, I was like, but you're doing the same things
Right.
figuratively.
Right.
So, um, I don't know how to just kind of turn off my emotions with it. Spiritually, what's your advice on that?
I don't think you should turn off your emotions. You should experience the whole roller coaster of them. The part that's important is not getting overwhelmed by them, but to the point by which you can't do anything else that you need to do. Focus on your comedy or get back out there and date or trust other people and potentially find love. Again, I think he's communicated a lot by his inaction and indecisiveness, right? And you've got to take whatever type of steps you need to take to protect against that now because you're clearly upset about it,
Yeah.
right? And so how are you going to do that is really important. Um, and again, I think that's also about like not letting this whole thing get you down,
Yeah.
right? Just in general. And I'm
So,
not saying that like you shouldn't let it get you down. You should, if it gets you down, it gets you down. I'm saying that just like this is one event, right? By one person who didn't exactly know what he wanted, right? Is that worth investing more time and energy in
no.
than you already have?
Right. No. And I think that doing my show and like my work helps me get out of that. And when I was starting to think double, like second guess what I say on my
Right.
podcast or my stand up, that's when I was like, why would this person be in your life then?
Right.
And I wasn't listening to that.
Yeah.
Okay, you are always so great. Have you started writing a book with some of your?
I need to, no, I can't write. I need to just dictate. I need like a
Well,
college student to follow me around.
well, I would love to do more episodes with you because I think these are great, and
Let's do that,
I
Trina.
I appreciate you so much, Noam. Thank you so much, guys. Stay tuned for more with the Divorce Rabbi.
The
We're gonna trade.
divorced, meet our second child, Noam, the divorced rabbi.
Stay tuned for more, guys. Hang on.